Better you should smoke pot than buy all those records. And would you please stop playing with matches?
Okay, it's the Rocky Mountain Audio Festival 2019. And here are 4 punchlines for UPS. Do not puncture, do not invert box, do not double stack, protect from moisture. Good luck. Let's go see what's happening in the Vandersteen room.
Sound good from here. What's that? It sound good from here. Yeah, it's working.
That sounds like shit. I walk in, it's my file. That's my vinyl rip that's playing in there.
Awesome.
Which is a good idea.
Yeah, it works.
All the digital guys use it. They don't say what it is. They don't say it's from vinyl. They just play it.
Sounds great.
Exactly. Of course it does. Of course it does. Okay, so this is a world premiere of a new
new loudspeaker from Vandersteen. This is the Quinto Carbon. It's a ground up rethinking of a lot of products, a lot of processes about Vandersteen. It has 2 side firing 9s, which is unusual.
Yeah, for you guys. Yeah, you've never done that before, right?
Right. So we were able to achieve a higher speed in the bass. So we've upped the crossover point to 200 hertz. So now you have control up to 200 hertz on the bass adjustment.
And it loads the room differently too, having woofers on the sides.
Yes. Yeah, a little bit.
And it's not a powered woofer though.
Yes, it is.
It is a powered woofer.
Yep.
I lied.
Yeah, it's got the Model 7 400 watt Class B linear power supplied power in there. And we're featuring the Model 7 mid-range. So it's got the top quality mid-range in it. It has the carbon tweeter and the mid-bass that it's always had at this price point. The 5A had it.
Is this similar size to the Quattro? Or?
Yes.
It is similar size.
So it's this the Quattro style cabinet with the side firing, and then we put a new bass on the bottom, which is an anti-resonant bass. And has all the adjustability of what we've done in the past. This is available in either color or wood, any paint you want. Any of our standard woods, others available by quoting.
It's very attractive.
So this is a, we haven't named the orange yet, but let's call it Sunrise Pearl for today. Right, so that's the new product. It's priced, introductory price is $37.5 the pair. And it is scheduled to be out about December, January in full production.
Excellent. And nothing else here is yours, so.
Well, the HRS, I work with HRS as well. This is the RXR series with the R shelf.
So it's the less costly stuff.
This is our entry level. There's what a lot of people don't know is there's about a square meter of polymers inside this stand.
Oh.
So you don't see it. Mike hides it all.
Yeah. But, is he here?
Mike is not here at the show, no. I am HRS at the show. There's your turntable, which it's an Atlas cartridge we're running.
This is the viola.
It's the viola.
Yeah.
And
it's a nice, this is a nice looking setup because it's all here and it shows.
Yep.
You can have a nice audio rig.
Right. This is the VTL 6.5.
Yep.
As well, the phono and the pre. And this, I think, is a fairly new product from Arender. This is the Arender A30.
Okay.
Which is just coming out, I believe. And fantastic product to use.
It's a streamer, and it looks like it has a CD slot in it.
It has an internal hard drive with many terabytes. I don't remember.
So you can just rip your CDs to it.
Right. So we're listening to this off the hard disk internally, which is great. If the internet goes down, we still have music.
And so which phono pre is this?
The TP 6.5.
Yeah. They don't put the name on it. They should. Don't you think?
Yeah, I talked to them about that.
Okay. And the Niagara, and those are your amps?
Let's skip the Vandersteen MPI HPA high pass amplifiers.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's a full powered speaker for the Vandersteen. And everything's AudioQuest, cabled. Power.
All right.
Garth's going to do a demo later, as he always does.
I'm a believer.
The AB demo, man. That's great.
Yeah. I posted when he did it at CES a couple of years ago. I recorded it with this Audio-Technica inexpensive shotgun microphone when he switched from one AC cable to another. And you could hear it.
Wow.
You could hear it on the video, and people heard it. And the
Yeah.
people that
That's awesome.
don't believe it makes a difference, they
heard it through the-
they thought something else was going on. That
Oh,
was,
yeah.
you can't, you know.
He's been accused of changing the volume and other
I know.
things. and
No,
He's just not that kind of guy.
No, I know.
There's total integrity.
no, he's crazy for other reasons, but not for that reason.
Right.
Okay, that's it.
Intense.
Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem.
So we've got, I'm certainly familiar with this stuff, so we have no turntable, but we'll live with it. So this is the A 1.5 stereo. This can be configured for mono also?
Correct.
Yeah. And this sits below the M series.
Correct.
Right. And then you have,
We have the C1, D1, C1 with the T1 clock.
okay, so the D1 is your DAC?
The D1 is the transport.
Oh, that's right. Where's the,
It's really, they
Is
do
it-
a great job of.
they sure do, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is the D1 transport, and that's the C1. That's the preamplifier, correct?
That's the DAC. We're not
See how much I
using
know?
the preamp.
Okay.
That's all right.
So that's the DAC.
Correct. And we're using the DAC with the volume control, so we are using it as a preamp.
Okay, so I was only half wrong.
You're only half wrong.
Okay, and then that
Which means
is,
you're half right.
yeah, and that is
That's the T1 clock.
clock. Okay. And so on this side we have,
This is the X1 power supply. So
Right,
you have
which-
the external
which
power.
I know because I have one,
Oh, okay.
and
The gigawatt, that's their top power conditioner.
okay.
PC4.
And so these Stenheim speakers are which ones?
These are the fives. In there, see how he's got 3 series of fives. This is the base 5, then there's an SE, and then there's the signature edition.
Okay, so how much does this whole ensemble cost minus the computer, approximately?
Well, the computer really puts it over the top.
It's the most
but-
expensive.
Yeah. So the speakers are 60 grand,
60 grand, okay?
and then I'm going to go to approximate numbers. The A1.5 is 40. The clock is 25 with the GPS enabled. The C1 is 42 with all the options on it.
Okay.
The D1 is, I believe it's 38. I'd have to check my numbers. The X1, since it's a dual output, is 20 grand.
Right. Even I
And then
need.
the gigawatt is 10 grand.
Okay. And who makes that?
That gigawatt is the company. It's a Polish company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does it sound any good?
I'd like to think so.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Well, today is
Sure.
Jeff Rowland, Vivid, and Grand Prix Audio. We're doing the classic album Sunday Room together.
So-
It's the Monaco 2.0 turntable,
Right.
and the Jeff and our new Monza stand. It's our new stand design that supersedes the Monaco, our original design.
Tell me about it. What's in
Well,
it?
Jason just reviewed it, and I think it's a good review. So there's some good information in there when that comes out. But it's a new adjustable design, so you can adjust your shelves at 1.5 inch increments. You can go double wide, triple wide. Reconfigurable. We'll
Right.
add some more options in the next year or two. We'll also have height. You'll be able to make height changes as well.
Right.
And we went to a bamboo shelf. Really like bamboo for a standard material.
Mhm.
We'll have the upgrade carbon shelves like we do with our other products, but they're not tooled yet. And it uses a 1.5 inch thick carbon fiber platform with polymer core, and the tubes have polymer inside them as well. And then we have a new type of sorbethane damper between the, I don't know if I can do this or not, between the shelf and the I can't take that out.
No, you don't
It's a
want to take that.
donut damper,
Uh-huh.
and so it's hollow in the middle. We have a whole new design of dampers, and those go backwards to all of our product.
So you can
for
retrofit,
everything.
okay.
And of course, I forgot to mention Cardis cables. We're using Cardis throughout.
All right.
They're clear beyond stuff. And of course, this is Jeff's gear. I think you're familiar with his awesome phono stage, the conductor. And
Two piece. I've never
this
reviewed
is
that
a
phone.
conductor, and this is the chorus preamp, and then the
Okay.
power supply, and then his 625 amplifier.
Okay. How long has this phono preamp been around? Do you know?
A year.
A year.
We introduced it here last year
Okay.
in this room, actually.
All right. And then this is a new Vivid speaker.
Yeah,
It's
Todd can probably
smaller.
tell you a little more about these than I can.
Sure.
Although I've had a set, and also they're bigger ones, and they're phenomenal.
Sure. This is the top model within a new series, kind of below the Gias, which you're maybe familiar
of course,
with.
yeah.
So this replaces the oval series, the original series, founded by Vivid almost 14
Right.
years ago now. So this is called Kaya. Yep.
Okay.
This is the Kaya model K90. These retail for $26,000 a pair. We've used them at Expono with this setup as well and love the results. And wanted to bring them again here. But there's a couple models below it. Kaya 45 at $18,000 and a Kaya 25 at $10,000 a pair.
Okay.
And more models to come out with a center channel and some surrounds and some subwoofers, so we'll be taking it into multi-channel as well.
Okay.
And you can basically, unlike the oval series didn't have the benefit of, if you will, the exponential horn that was brought from the Nautilus into Gia, the upper range, right, with the external beautiful horn.
Right.
Oval series never benefited from that. Kaya actually does, although it's internal for the first time. So rather than seeing the external horn,
Right.
it's wrapped inside
Oh.
in this. So the base section benefits from the exponential horn as well.
And it's,
So they have a base quality that's more like Gia than like oval.
and it's ported on the side, is that
That's
right?
correct, they're ported on the side. And reaction canceling woofers, just like the Gias and so forth as well. So if you want to think of them, they're basically the exact same tweeters and mid-ranges and so forth, as the upper models. So we don't, at Vivid, we don't, if you will, dumb down the quality of components
Right.
in our less expensive models. These are basically three-way versions of the four-way Gias, if you want to think of them that way.
Yeah.
So in that respect, 26 grand for a small pair of Gias is quite a bargain.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it. Let's play it. I brought records. Okay. This is a long, involved story that I'll try to tell you as simply and easily as possible. So this may look somewhat familiar to some of you, and it was a different brand called Plus Audio, and this is a all-in-one box that produces a very wide soundstage that is, literally mind-blowingly good. So, due to circumstances beyond everyone's control, the people that engineered and designed that product have gone off on their own with a revised version of the product that is now called Andover. I'm sorry, and so it's Andover. So if you know the other product, you can see this is a more refined looking design on the outside. And you're still using a project-based turntable, and you got an Ortofon 2M red in there.
We're actually going to supply it with the silver, which is basically a red with a silver coil body.
Right. Oh, okay. And then why don't you run me through this? And why don't you put your name in front of people so they can see it?
Yep, there we go.
Bob Hazelwood, Andover Audio. Okay, this guy was involved in the other company too, so these are the same people. And they are the R&D design people who've done all kinds of products I didn't even know about, including they did Harley Davidson speakers back in 2000.
Starting in 2000.
When you were like 12, right?
Yeah, just about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he was 12 hours old.
Right.
I still feel 12.
Okay, so now run me through this new product.
Okay, so what we did was we took the basic format that we had done with Plus Audio. We decided to step it up a notch. The Plus Audio we still feel is a good product and it's still being sold. So this essentially is a similar product. We've improved the turntable. We've gone up to the equivalent of the Esprit SE or SB that does give you 78 RPM and 45 RPM speed now. The acrylic platter, we've stepped the cartridge up one notch to the silver. The frame and the industrial design is more of the sort of the mid-century modern aesthetic that was popular back when record players were a popular concept.
They are again. Now, how do you change speeds on this? Where is this?
Basically, we have a menu system. Phono 33, we can go to 45, 78. 78 requires a belt change.
Right. It goes
and
from
of course, a stylus change.
It goes to the round belt, right? I've seen that, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
We have Bluetooth with all the Bluetooth stuff you want, aptX, etc. The special input is designed for streaming adapter. Whatever your choice is, it has an automatic sensing, so when the streaming adapter goes live, it turns the unit on.
So Bluetooth means you can take your phone and stream it through this audio system?
Yes, directly. Okay, and then the normal, analog, auxiliary, coax, and optical digital.
Right.
There's a bidirectional computer input and output, so you can record as well as play back on your computer. And then your various basic settings that we've added. We have the as you saw in the other unit, was called wide mode, where it gives you the illusion of wider space speakers. We've added a tone control, so that's adjustable for people's preference. Normally we're going to demonstrate it flat. Subwoofer output, which you can turn on and off a high-pass filter for the built-in speakers.
And you've got it off now.
We've got the output, the high-pass filter on this off at the moment. And you can turn this internal speakers on and off if you're using external speakers. We do have an output for that.
Oh, and you also got a headphone jack in the front.
Yep, headphone jack in the front, and then a fine speed adjust for the turntable. As well. This may be particularly valuable for those 78 RPM collectors where
and there are lots of 33s. There are lots of 33s that were done at the wrong speed too,
Yeah, this is true.
Like
we were supposed to know better by then.
Beggar's Banquet was done at the wrong speed, and Kind of Blue was done at the wrong speed. But tape recorders in those days varied multiple percentage, so there were all kinds of issues. Okay, that's cool. Okay,
so we've got about plus or minus 3%. We've also put a Class A headphone amplifier in it. We have plans on coming out with a high-quality line of headphones, so that was important to us to make sure that we had a good headphone.
It's headphones and vinyl that's driving young people into high-quality audio right now. Plus streaming high quality, and that's really important. So, what do you plan on selling this for?
This is $2,500 for the turntable itself. We also are selling the rack and the subwoofer as separate items as well. We have two variations on the stand. One that is double height or double shelf for all records.
Okay.
And then the subwoofer that can be mated with the stand, or it can be used separately. When it's used separately, it has an installable top that has the same wood grain and then the glass insert, so it has the same look as the record player.
And is that a shelf? Is that a
accessory shelf
accessory?
Here, storage shelf.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, and this is the remote control for it, which is currently no battery.
Right.
So, but that will give you all the front panel controls, direct input to the mode, sources, bass and treble, mute, your volume, and all the menu functions that are driven there are driven by this control there, and that's in the matching wood with aluminum.
So the base price of just the turntable is $2,500.
Correct.
And then the whole package.
We have.
Yeah, you got pricing here.
Oh, great.
Pricing here.
Yeah, there's a few variations.
Yeah, a few variations. The subwoofer is $800.
Okay.
You can sort of mix and match. There's a few options.
Okay, and where is this all made?
The turntable, of course, is Czech Republic.
Right.
The electronics are made in Asia. We basically marry the two pieces in the U.S. at the current.
And this wood and all of this stuff is made here?
Well, this sample was made here. These will probably be imported.
Right.
Depending on.
Well, it's great.
The production is scheduled to begin in October. We'll have product in the market in November.
In time for Christmas?
In time for Christmas.
Who's going to be distributing this?
We're going to distribute it ourselves.
Wow, and where do you expect to be selling it?
Right now, the initial rollout is online only on our website. We are planning on talking to distributors and dealers for a full-scale rollout in 2020.
Right. Okay. This is going to be an experiment in stereophonic sound. So this is the Andover. It's an all-in-one unit that is stereo, and if it's like the one they had with a different name before, that's slightly different. You will hear stereo very clearly and spread well, and it won't be all diffuse and processed. It'll sound amazingly good. We'll see. If it doesn't work, I won't publish it. I think it'll work.
gonna do that. I'm gonna get me a mojo in. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get me a mojo in. I wanna fix my woman so can't have no other man.
That's probably as much as we can get away with. Okay, so I played this same record in a room with 2 big speakers in it, and it was pretty much a very similar image with 2 big speakers in the room, and here we are with all in one, and you're getting stereo. Okay. We have Falcon acoustic speakers, we have BAT, we have Dr. Fikert, and why don't you run me, are you going to do it? Take me through, who's going to take me through?
Why doesn't Chris do it here?
Okay.
What shall I tell you?
Show me,
Chris hasn't been here in 7 years, so.
let's see the new turntable.
Yeah, the new turntable.
That's always
Okay,
good.
well, it's a let's say an inversion model, because in 1999 I recall that I built the very first turntable myself, and well, that is 20 Italian for 20.
Right.
And people always ask me if I couldn't make a model of smaller dimensions with the 3-engine drive. I said always no, it's impossible. But then I had the idea of doing this table and trying some new ideas on it, and finally turned out to be a good seller, because the 50 copies that we are releasing to the market were sold out.
Wow. It's a very handsome looking turntable.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, well, I tried to make a crossover of the Volare we released last year,
Right.
along with ideas and principles of the bigger models of the Firebird, and this is what finally turned out.
So you got 3 pulleys
Yes, it's 3 motors.
and 3 motors.
3 motors built in, yes, exactly.
And how do you isolate the motors from the plinth?
It's the same strategy as before. We do have special dampers of a decent length and shore hardness. They do the same job as in the other chassis.
And what is this selling for?
€6,900. I don't know the retail.
8,000 US.
8,000
$8,000
US.
US.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Those are amazing. Have you ever?
No, I do have my own room treatment at home. I think John knows it.
Yeah, the aperture
Yeah.
panels, yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are amazing.
They work.
Yeah, they.
They do the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and let's see. And what arm is this? This is
This
a
is Chic.
Okay.
It's a 10.5 inch.
And what cartridge you got on there?
That's a My Sonic Lab. I think it's the Signature
Signature
Gold.
Gold, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we're doing Chic now, Michael. MoFi is now the Chic US.
Oh, you are? Ah.
Mhm.
It's the whole look is great.
Yeah,
of that.
thank you.
Will you play a record for me?
Oh, what do you want to listen to?
I brought a record. Okay, so the system consists of, these are, which speakers are these?
The Falcon, Jerry?
Yep, these are our new Falcon Acoustics range. This is the prototype. This is the HB80, and it features 2 6.5-inch Twaron graphene composite cone mid woofers and a 1-inch fabric dome tweeter, ported.
Okay.
And we produce all the cones and direct bass units in house. They're actually built by Falcon in house.
And this is the first time you've shown this
This
speaker?
is the first time we've shown this
Oh.
speaker in the US. We debuted them at Munich, and we brought them over here for RMAF.
And how much do they cost? Are they going to cost here?
John?
Those are going to be $16,995 in Cherry.
$16,995.
Yeah.
Okay. And this
You
is
get 2 for that price. That's a pair.
good, because for stereo you need 2.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah, yeah.
this is bad. All
And
right.
you're looking at some new balanced audio technology
Oh.
equipment that just made it in time for the show.
Oh, run me through that too.
So this is the new Rex 3 preamp. So this is a first run. There's going to be a few different modifications before it goes into full production. But Victor and the guys just got this done 2 days ago. So this is our new top of the line 2 chassis, 2 preamplifier.
And what is that going to sell for? Do you know?
Around 30,000.
Okay.
And our new Rex 3 2 mono amps. You can also run these in stereo, and these will be 25,000 each. So in mono, you're getting 160 watts a side.
Okay. Let's play it.
All right.
Expanded the distribution arm of our company, and now we're carrying many fine brands. In addition to Prima Luna, including Tannoy, which we recently picked up.
Right.
We're bringing in Pathos Acoustics from Italy, Kaseki Phono Stages, S-Booster power supplies from the Netherlands. Some fantastic products.
Yes, I know that company. I've had a turntable that used their.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, is it called Upscale Distribution?
Upscale Distribution, that's right. Well, this is the S-Booster table, and we've got an S-Booster torn apart here to see the build quality. Massive toroidal power transformer, large amount of filter capacitance.
And you can use this for what? For turntables?
You can use it for turntables. You can use it for some phono stages, headphone amps, DACs, streamers. Even Wi-Fi routers. So everything benefits from cleaning power.
Wi-Fi routers, that's a new one. No, that's rather than just using the cheap wall wart.
Right, because those wall warts create noise not just in the signals processed by that component, but also in contamination to the other components in the system.
You know, even though I'm an analog guy, I have a very good digital setup with a cheap router, with a cheap switcher. You can put it on the switcher too, right?
Yes, you can.
That would really be an interesting experiment. Are there variable connectors you can use with this? Or?
So this comes with an array of connectors that allow you to connect to whatever device you're plugging it in. So we've got one energized here, but basically the umbilical comes off the power supply, and it comes to a proprietary termination, and that's where you will insert whatever size barrel connector you need. There's a whole bunch of different connectors that are included with the power supplies. So usually what you need is going to be in there.
And what is that little box right there?
This is a last and final noise filter right before the component.
Like a ferrite loop kind of thing?
It's actually capacitance. So it also provides some capacitive power reserves too, that have very little distance to travel to get to the amplifier.
That's really interesting. I think that this is like an upgrade. It's like the last step that a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a super cool design. Depending on the voltage, they run $359 to $399.
Okay.
And you can take a product that maybe didn't come with the best power supply, put that on there, and it sounds like you bought way higher up the line.
You know what the power supply
it's pretty fantastic.
Okay, so you got a Prima Luna, and
so we got a Prima Luna here. Tomorrow we're going to have this particular amplifier running 8 different power tubes, and you'll be able to listen to music through this system with headphones. And this is to demonstrate the sophistication of the adaptive auto bias technology that's in here.
Because you just pop the tubes in, and
you just pop the tubes in. It makes everyone play nicely together, and you would never want to run 8 different power tubes in an amp.
So you're not going to have 8 of each and swap out 8 tubes. You're going to have 8 simultaneously.
Tubes.
Oh, what's that going to sound like?
Surprisingly, it doesn't sound that bad. But that's because adaptive audio bias, it monitors the signal in real time, adjusts the parameters of the tube.
Sure, but each tube has its own character.
Sure, but you're blending it all. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's always a fun little thing that we do. So this is Felix Audio, fantastic headphone amps out of Poland. Here we've got their entry-level Echo. Retails for just over $600.
Wow.
Amazing value. And this is their Euphoria. It sits at about $3,500, I believe. Also, if you have a chance to visit us in Headspace booth 65 downstairs, you can listen to all 4 Felix amps.
Oh, cool.
We've got them all powered down there. So fantastic stuff.
And then let's move over here.
Pathos Acoustics over here. We have got the classic Remix. This is the In-Pole 2. And this is the
And what are
Logos
these?
2.
This is an integrated amplifier?
These are all integrated amplifiers. Logos and Classic Remix are their what they call non-in-pole amps. They use a more standard amplifier topology. The in-pole amplifiers use a patented method of amplification. This is a hybrid amp. The tubes actually aren't just on the front end, they do all the amplification. And then there's a current following technology that bolsters what the tubes are doing. When you hear this amp play, what you're going to hear is it feels like an incredible amount of power.
So there aren't solid state devices?
Yes,
there are.
MOSFETs.
On the output? Yes, so the input stage is...
But it doesn't go through, it assists the signal that's going through the tubes. So it's a patented technology that you're not going to find anywhere else. Of course, here we've got Prima Lunas. We always like to show off how well Prima Lunas are built with ceramic tube sockets bolted to a steel chassis.
Yep.
Everything is hand wired. Very sophisticated circuits in here, like the adaptive auto.
And has the pricing been affected by tariffs?
Both us as an importer and the manufacturer are kicking in to not raise prices too much. We want
so
to
annoying.
keep things. It's incredibly annoying, and you know the thing that Upscale Audio.
But I understand the recent shipment of these amplifiers were damaged in the hurricane in Alabama. Is that true?
I don't think
It's a
that's
joke.
true. Sorry.
That's okay. It's a joke.
Yeah, and over here we've got the Tannoy Eaton.
Right.
This is their Legacy series, which is a reissue of some components. They were very popular in the 70s.
Oh.
And we love the look and sound of the speaker, and of course the dual concentric driver. More upside down Prima Lunas, showing the build quality.
Yep.
A lot of stuff. And you have some experience with Prima Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot, but some. These are the new Evo 100s. A little bit more compact form factor, available in an integrated, a preamplifier, and a stereo mono switchable power amp.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah, that's about
Okay,
it.
that's good.
So we do have a Tannoy Sterling here, very popular speaker, and this is a Pathos Classic 1 Mark III. A really, really fun amp and a remarkable
So you would
value.
say this is a good combo?
Yeah, they work really well together. Yeah, really well.
And what does that cost?
Tannoy Sterlings, I'm not in sales, so if I get this wrong, forgive me, but I think they're a little over $3,000 each. And this amp right here is just under $3,000.
Under how much, too?
$3,000.
3,000. So for under 10, you're in.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And a fun system that
Yeah.
provide
Cool.
years and years of listening pleasure.
All right. Great. Well, thank you. This is the Fiker.
This is the Volare.
And when did this come out?
It was about a year ago, right?
Somehow I missed it, or I forget it. It could be either one of the
It's
two.
about a year ago. So we spec'd it originally with this Origin Live tone arm, which is the Origin Live Silver.
Right.
It's about a $1,000 tone arm. With this complete package with tone arms, $34.95.
That's a very attractive price.
It's a very attractive price. One of the problems that we were running into were people didn't like the whole lock nut on the bottom. You know how old Rega is mounted.
Exactly.
So what happened is Origin Live would say don't tighten it too tight, otherwise it squashes the dynamics, and so people wouldn't tighten it, and then they would go back into the rest and it would move, and they would be frustrated. So we talked with Chris and we said, you know what we really need is a VTA adjustment that's easy, because if you have to unloosen this and then rotate this, it's a pain in the ass.
Absolutely.
So Chris came up and made this new collet that we're going to start including. And essentially what the collet does is it has a shaft that has this upper part here that screws onto the base of a regular Origin Live arm.
Right.
And then we have a lock nut and we have the VTA adjuster. So you simply loosen this, put your same size 2mm Allen key in here and either rotate it up or down. And when you use an Allen key, you can monitor quarter turns, half turns, full turns.
Yep.
And then you're able to really quickly dial in the VTA. And this adds about $200 to the package. So it's $36.95 now, including the VTA.
Yeah, well, that's
collar.
worth it. Just so
well
this
worth
is
it. Yeah.
Rotating around, and you get the adjustment exact. Yeah.
And this arm and this table sound so good together that we are putting a very expensive cartridge on that is twice the price of the actual turntable, or almost double the price of the actual turntable, which is crazy. But it's
if it works,
more than capable of
this is a one-motor design?
This is a one-motor design, yeah. Whereas downstairs you saw the Venti, which has 3 motors.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And this is also updatable to the external power supply that he offers.
Right.
So that's another update that a customer can do. So what's really cool is they can buy it and they can upgrade the mat and they can upgrade the power supply if they want to down in the future and improve the performance of the table even further.
Cool. It's nice.
New phono stage from Primaire out of Sweden called the R35, replaces the R32 that's been out for quite a while. This has up to 72 dB of gain, fully adjustable, capacitance, impedance is adjustable between 10 ohms and 47K.
And how do you do that? Inside or in
No,
the back?
on the back.
dip switches on the
Dip
back.
switches on the
Okay.
back and knobs on the back for gain settings. And this will retail for about $2,000.
And so since it's the 35 versus the R32, so it's $3 more than the other one?
It's actually
It's 3 better.
Okay.
Hey,
yeah. Hey, Kevin.
hey.
Okay, so this is brand new.
Brand new. It's the first time we're showing
And so
it.
you're having it with that, you're playing it with that?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, so and how's it sounding in here? Do I want to hear it in
Good.
here?
Yeah, I think so.
You should listen.
Okay, let's do it.
What
No, I
record?
brought records.
Yeah, he wants to hear his record.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay, so Mobile Fidelity is in its bid to take over the entire world of analog.
Yes, the owner of Nessie purchased Hanel about 2 or 3 years ago with the intent to standardize the products that he's offering to his customers. Both of them are manufactured in Germany. The difference is the Hanel machine is a little bit more, we don't have one here on display unfortunately, it's a little bit more customizable where you can dictate how long you want to rotation of the cleaning as opposed to the vacuuming or anything like that. So it's kind of a cool, super advanced user. The great thing about the Nessie machines, and there's actually 3 machines. There's the entry-level machine, which we don't have here, which doesn't have the applier, the brush
so
that applies the fluid.
Manual,
So it's you squirt the fluid on, you use a brush, and then you vacuum it up. Very similar to like the Okinoki or the VPI or any of those things. Then we go to the Vinyl Cleaner Pro, which is this model here. And what this does is it does have the actual brush mechanism. So you would squirt the fluid on. Once you push the button, it has a standard actual routine that it does, where it will rinse in both directions for a certain number of times, and then it will beep.
It'll rub in both.
Correct.
Yeah.
It will rub it both ways.
Yeah.
Then it will beep, and then you simply take this off.
Right.
Then you put the vacuum hold down, and then what it will do, I'm not sure what's going on there, but there we go. The vacuum hold down will go, and then it will start vacuuming it in both directions.
So the motor will automatically start turning?
Correct, and I'll give you the demo right now.
Okay.
And so that's how this machine works. Then you jump up to the Vinyl Master. This is the fully automated machine where essentially you push the button, it will squirt the right amount of liquid, not any bit more or not any bit too little. It will clean in both directions, and then it will beep, and then you'll remove that and you'll put the vacuum on, and it will clean in both directions, and then it will stop and you're done. So what's really cool is the clamps that they include also have this seal on it to make sure that no liquid gets onto your precious label, which is also really nice. So now I'll give you a demonstration of how that works with the Vinyl Master.
Let's show people how filthy this record is. I brought this record. This is a collectible record. I brought it. But you know what? This record sat in my utility room unplayed for years, and that dust must have gotten into the jacket.
You're kidding.
No, that's what must have happened. It's very quiet.
It is, and wait till you hear the vacuum. The vacuum is the most impressive.
So the fluid, you put the fluid on by itself, and now it's rotating in both directions.
Yep, for a pre-programmed amount of time.
Okay.
And you can actually hold the button down for a longer period of time, and what we'll do is we'll do a super deep clean, which will take about 20 minutes. And so you have a really, really dirty record. It even has a programming method for that as well. And the lights are a really cool accessory.
Oh,
Fresh versions.
thank you.
The lights are.
So what's the retail on this machine?
So we start at $1,500 for the least expensive, $2,000, $3,000, and then the Hanel is $4,000.
So he kept the Hanel name.
He did, which is a little bit weird for me. It would be easier if it was one brand.
Yeah,
but
make the brand disappear and whatever.
Whatever. It is a very different machine in that it's totally manual how you want to operate it, and it also has that little rotating wheel which keeps spitting up the fluid, if you will, which is kind of cool too. So
it beeps.
So we lift that up.
Oh, it's very quiet.
It is very quiet.
You can barely hear this.
You can actually have a conversation over it.
And where does the fluid go?
The fluid comes out of this tube right here that you can then expunge into whatever it is that you want.
Is it like a stainless steel tank or plastic tank or something?
Correct.
You know,
one of the unique things is that the vacuum motor that they use is one that's actually designed for wet applications, whereas many of the other vacuum motors that are being used in our industry are from the automotive industry that aren't designed for wet applications. So one of the reasons that it's as quiet as it is because of that motor that they're using, that vacuum motor.
Okay, and this is the Nessie Vinyl.
This is the Nessie Vinyl Master.
Okay, you always said Nazi Vinyl Master.
Nessie Vinyl Master.
Okay. So now we're in. Whose room is this?
Well, this is Sounding's room, which is our dealer here in Denver.
Okay.
And we're combining with Soundings, with Boulder Electronics, we have acoustic speakers, we have subwoofers, HRS stands, Nordos cabling.
Okay.
And this is actually the first debut of the new Viella Forte at an American hi-fi show.
Okay.
We debuted it at the Munich show last May.
Right.
So we'll go over prototype.
Yeah, we'll go over the look at it. Okay.
So, but yeah, what we're showing here is what the basic differences are between the standard Viella and the Viella Forte.
Okay.
You know, you've reviewed it, Mike, and it's been generally accepted that, you know, Viella is a very high quality turntable overall and a very good value.
Yep.
So what we've done with the Forte is taken all the strengths of the Viella, which is its bearing design, its motor design, its tone arm design, and seeing how we could bring it up another notch in terms of overall performance. So the decision was that on the standard Viella, you can see this is a raw plinth, so you can see the relative thickness of the plinth here. And it's heavy.
Yeah. Massive.
But then the parts bolt onto it. So right here you would have the bearing housing, and that would bolt on to the plinth.
Right.
And there's an example of the bearing housing right there.
Right here.
Yeah. So watch out, because that top piece, which is the bearing, would want to fall out if you lift it. I can hold that if you want. And so
this would
actually bolt in from the bottom.
Okay.
So, you know, obviously it's pretty massive.
Right,
It's
comes
also
up and then it comes up and then it gets bolted.
Yeah, bolted from the bottom, and then the bearing is actually placed inside of it. So there's another picture of the bearing showing, you know, more of the detail of every red section is where there would be oil.
Right.
Because it's basically, the oil is in there for lubrication.
Right. But it's the same thing as that.
Yeah, same thing as that. It's just a different cutaway. It's that's not inserted into this.
Now that is a bearing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's about an 18 millimeter diameter axle, and one of the aspects of this bearing is that you can see the bottom is convex, so they actually polish it, and then it sits against the Teflon thrust pad down there. Yep. So you're actually eliminating a ball. And by doing that, you're eliminating another source of vibrational energy. So we thought, okay, what could we do to make this even better? So the decision with the Viella Forte was to now machine the plinth out of this thickness of aluminum. So you can see it's about 3 times the thickness. And it's about 3 times the mass. And instead of bolting on the bearing housing, we literally machined the bearing housing straight out of the 3-inch thick piece of aluminum.
Wow.
So now
that's a major thing.
That's a major thing. So essentially, these parts in here, and we'll do a little visual demonstration.
The whole reason this is scrapped is because of that.
We got this bearing. This part would then fit right in here as half of the bearing assembly and then be held in. So the entire bottom section of the bearing, this section here, is now integral to the plinth.
Right.
Not only is that, but the plinth being that much heavier and denser a material gives you a much better foundational aspect to the design to eliminate unwanted vibrational energy from getting back into your stylus.
Got it. Okay.
So that is really the key Forte design.
Aside from the mass, and the mass is important, but this is...
You know, just to say I took the same bearing and bolted it into a bigger plinth accomplishes some of it, but by making it integral, then you're accomplishing a much greater deal of...
Assuming you have good machining, which obviously they do.
Yeah, you know, again, it's fun to be able to show this next to Boulder because both companies are very similar in that they machine in-house. And then, in some ways I've thought of, there's almost like 3 classes of turntable manufacturers. Those who machine, those who design and have machined, and then all the OEM people these days who basically just go to either a machinist or another company, a turntable company, and say,
make for them.
Yeah, make me a turntable, whether it's, Bryston, Macintosh.
I want that part from there and that part from there.
Yeah, and sometimes those can be a bit of a kludge, but, they meet the cosmetic needs for branding.
Yes, I just wrote about something like that, but okay.
Okay, so the Viella Forte takes that idea and adds all that additional mass to it. In fact, the arm board's larger, the platter is larger. We'll see that on the finished product over there. And then we actually made a new power supply and housing, which is more massive. And kind of just for the fun of it, we made it mimic the shape of the turntable because we can.
Right.
So, and actually this shape gives you a lot of rigidity because of the thickness of the sidewalls, able to damp out, any kind of transformer noise.
So this is a sandwich of 2 pieces?
Yeah, a sandwich of 2 pieces that bolts together with these fasteners down here. And if we were to open it up, it would look very much like that item over there.
Right. Which I just reviewed that term. I want to go over and show that afterward.
Okay.
So this is an extension to give you, so you can have a longer arm. What's going on?
Actually, this is here. This was originally called the twin arm board. This was where you could mount one arm here and actually swing it over here and put the second arm there. We've now gone to a much more massive tower, just because although this is thick, it's still cantilevered, and there's a bit of a compromise anytime you have to cantilever an arm out.
Yes.
So we're just using this as a visual display, just to kind of show it. Okay. We wanted to be able to show the arm as well, because you can see here we also have all the arm parts that are unanodized.
Right.
And one of the things that makes AMG so special is not only do they machine all the parts of the tone arm, but they literally machine every little knurled knob, every little fastener, every screw. They make it all in-house because they can, and it gives them a level of control over the product that you can't get.
Now, this would otherwise be swung back here?
Yeah, actually the way this would normally work is it would insert the other way.
Yes, I want people to see that so they get it.
Yeah, so let's essentially, let's make some space here.
It don't matter if it's not exactly right.
Yeah, so, well, the original design was essentially, it's not keyed to fit because it's a different turntable, but it would sit like that, so but this would limit it to a 9-inch only arm.
Right.
And because their 12-inch arm is so highly regarded, the new one we do, which is called the Fortissimo, is a separate tower that sits on the side of the turntable, is actually registered to the bearing to get your proper distance of pivot to spindle distance, and actually can be rotated 180 degrees, so you can place the arm anywhere here for your convenience.
Without having any effect on sound quality or on the alignment. Okay, cool.
So that's the Viella Forte. So we can walk over here and see the actual.
Let me just show this. I just finished reviewing this in stereophile. This is the smaller, bolder phono preamp. It's very, very, very good. I liked it an awful lot.
Yeah, and as you can see, even in an electronic device, by having this kind of massive, machined aluminum, you're able to reduce the noise floor because everything has some vibrational energy.
Right.
So
people are skeptical about that until they hear it, but we know it's true.
Essentially, all music is vibrational energy, and if you have it with order, we call it music, and if you have it with disorder, we call it noise. And really, the whole key of a great hi-fi system is to eliminate most of the noise and only have the music come through.
That's right. And when people hear something that really does that, they get it immediately. It doesn't take long.
Yeah. In this case, we have the Smith is anodized here, anodized black. We're actually offering it in 2 versions, the standard version and then a special engraved pattern where they actually engrave it on the CNC machine. Kind of did it for the fun of it. It was a nice challenge for Julian Lorenzi, the owner and designer of AMG, to create something of a visual aspect. Some of the fear was this is going to be a big black thing, and it is a big black thing, but it weighs about 90 pounds.
It's very dramatic looking.
Yes.
Not ugly.
Well, thank you. So the other things about the Forte is that the arm board is actually both taller and a larger diameter than the standard Viella arm board.
Right.
So again, you have more mass where you can get better, mechanical, foundation to the tone arm itself. The platter actually is taller than the traditional Viella platter. If you look here, you can see a line, a machining line.
Yep.
Essentially, the material below this is aluminum, and the top is actually a PVC mat. So, in the standard Viella, we actually put a piece of PVC inset into the platter, which would only be that high, and machine it to accuracy. On this, we actually then bond this entire PVC mat to the top of the aluminum platter, and again, machine it to accuracy. So what we're doing is presenting to the record itself more of a material like the record. Right. So kind of the idea that a 200-gram record sounds better than a 120-gram record. Here you're adding that much more thickness to your vinyl, and plus PVC doesn't have the ringing characteristic of certain kind of metals, nor does it have the damping characteristics of felt or cork or things like that, which are really used more to damp a platter than particularly damp the vinyl itself. And then we kind of top it off with a larger clamp than the traditional clamp that AMG has done.
Is this a drop-in or screw-on?
It's a screw-on, and like the Viella, because we think this is really important, is again, the spindle is smooth, and the thread is inside. And it is here. So you never run the risk of enlarging or deforming the center hole of your LP, because that's so key to get, speed and pitch accuracy.
Yes, it is.
So we've designed it in a way where the platter, the arm board, and the clamp, as well as the power supply, which we see down here on in the final anodized version, are all going to be available to existing Viella owners as upgrades to their Viella. And at the same time, we've created a trade-up program where Viella owners can trade in their old Viella for a Viella Forte.
And then the old ones go to Goodwill?
Great Will, actually.
That would be very Great Will. If you walk into a Goodwill and find one of these.
What it is even the standard Viella in its most basic form is $16,000.
Right.
So there's a lot of people who would love to own one, and it's just beyond their means. But as dealers take their Viella customers and upgrade them to Fortes, now they have secondhand Viellas, and obviously a product with this level of machining and accuracy, very little to worry about.
So this is 35K, did you say it was?
30K, including the turbo arm.
That's
$32,000 for the engraved version.
In this world, that's a good deal.
Thank you. We feel it is. And again, one of the reasons they can do it is because they make it in-house. That's one of the keys. They do all their own machining, they do their design, they machine. Again, AMG for 15 years before they came out with their own brand was the machinist to many of the German turntable manufacturers in the marketplace. And
let's talk about that too.
As their son, as Werner's son Julian came of age, he joined the company, and they made AMG as a combination. And
this generational thing is really good because it's in this industry. There's a lot of it, and it's successful. The sons going to work for the fathers and proving themselves to be equally talented, if not more talented, because they grew up in it. They learned about it, and it's fantastic.
So much of learning about audio design is experiential, much like appreciating good audio playback.
That's right.
There's a lot of that hands-on understanding.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, and we're also premiering here at the show from DS Audio the ionizer, the Ion 001. I'm going to remove this because this is their stylus cleaner that you reviewed, the ST50.
That's great. That is indispensable.
Right. And Aki, much like Julian, again, is a man in his 30s whose father was in audio, worked for Nakamichi many years ago. Then he went on into the optical industry. And so Aki is coming out with new products. So, the ionizer is designed, it's got 2 different ion units in it, and they're both shooting out positive and negative ions on the record as you're actually playing it. So it does very much the same thing as, say, a record demagnetizer, but one of the advantages is that it's doing it while you're playing the record, so it eliminates one step, i.e. putting your record on your demagnetizer and waiting for whatever and then taking it off and playing it. You know, the least you handle your records, the cleaner they stay.
And this is an active device that's plugged in?
This is an active device. It's plugged in. It's got a power supply down there.
And how much? It's $2,500 or something?
$1,800.
Oh, good.
$1,800.
I like it when it turns out to be less than I think it is.
So, you know, it has some special features on it. Excuse me there's the Nordo sign taking a thing. And, where it's not going to, you know, there's some concerns with ion generators creating byproducts. It's designed not to create any oxidization and things like that.
Will it make me happy if I stand in front of it long enough?
I think long enough. In fact, you can actually, if you put your hand in front of it, you can actually feel.
Yeah, I feel happy.
Yeah. Okay. Very simple.
Okay.
Very,
is that everything?
That's everything.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Garth.
Well, thank you.